Attorney Lunny, please.
Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one thing we don't have to prove in this case is whether the defendant is evil. We may find that some of his actions may have been evil, but we certainly do not have to prove that the defendant was evil. Now, right now, there are any number of members of our society who suffer from a form of mental illness. Mental illness alone is not an excuse to murder the woman you could never have. The question is not whether one suffers from a mental illness. The question is whether that mental illness caused you to be unable to substantially understand the wrongfulness of your acts and substantially conform your conduct to the requirements of the law. And I suggest you we prove that Mr. Loya certainly could do. It was less than 2 years from around September 2011 until July 2013. September 2011, when Lisa Trebnikova first meets Adrian Loya in Kodiak, Alaska, until July 2013, when Lisa and her wife, Anna Trebnikova, are assigned to Cape Cod, different bases, but both on Cape Cod, away from Adrian Loya, or so they thought. No witness came into this courtroom and told you that Adrian Loya was guilty. No witness. That's for you to decide. Not for Mr. Segadali to tell you that somebody came in and said he was guilty, because nobody has done that. I'm going to tell you right now that I believe we proved to you that he's guilty. But it's for you to decide whether or not he's guilty. Now, I want to thank you very much for your service. I want to remind you, as the judge said at the beginning of the trial, that anything that I said during my closing argument, or anything that Mr. Segadali said during his closing argument, or his opening for that matter, is not evidence in this case. And there certainly is a presumption of innocence that sits with Adrian Loya. It's the same burden that we've had in any court in this country for over 200 years. We must prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Loya understood the wrongfulness of his acts and could comport himself to the requirements of the law. Beyond a reasonable doubt. What is beyond a reasonable doubt? Well, with human affairs, there's always going to be some doubt. And it's certainly not beyond all doubt, because there's always going to be some doubt in human affairs. It's almost a certainty. But it's not a mathematical certainty. And I ask that you listen very carefully to the judge when he instructs you on what reasonable doubt is, but also what reasonable doubt is not. Because it's not an impossible burden for the Commonwealth to meet. As we've demonstrated, I suggest to you, in this very case. There are really two judges in this case. There's His Honor, who's the judge of the law. He's going to tell you what the law is. He's not going to ask you. He's not going to suggest to you. He's going to tell you, this is what the law is in Massachusetts. This is what you need to apply the facts as you find them to determine your verdict. But then there's you. You're the judges of the facts. You determine and what not to do. Just because you may hear more than one version of an event or an opinion, that does not automatically equal reasonable doubt. That's why we have adults sitting in the jury box and not children. You have to decide from the evidence that you've heard, what is the most believable evidence? What version, if there's two or more versions, do I accept as what happened, or what didn't happen in this case? Well, how do you find these facts? Well, first, I suggest you find the facts, look for credibility. What do I believe? What should I believe? Who has a motive to come into line? Credibility of the witnesses that testify. What did they say? Is it believable? Do they have any bias, any motive to lie? You can believe everything a witness says. You can believe some of what a witness says, but you can believe none of what a witness says. That's your job in determining credibility. How much do I want to believe? If I want to believe anything that a witness says. And what's your most competent team to do this. It's your common sense. You don't leave your common sense at the door when you come in to sit as a juror. Now, the defendant is certainly presumed to be innocent, but only until he's proved guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, which I suggest, again, we've done in this case. The Commonwealth has the burden of proving to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Adrian Loya murdered Lisa Trebnikova, shot Anna Trebnikova, and Jerry McDonald, and all the other crimes that he's charged. And there are a number of other crimes that he's charged. But I have a limited amount of time, and I'm going to focus mostly on what I would suggest to you are the most serious crimes in this case. And you wonder why there's so many exhibits in this case of the defendant saying, I did it. We still, the Commonwealth, have the burden of proving to you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that he committed these crimes. And then we have the additional burden of proving to you that he was criminally responsible. That's why there's so many exhibits. We have to prove that it happened, that he's responsible, and then we have to prove to you that he's criminally responsible. And I know it got tedious at times, listening to the evidence technicians talk about, I found a shell here, I found a shell there. Yes, that's where I found that. But we have that burden. And we accept that burden, and I suggest at the end of the day, we've met that burden. The Commonwealth is proceeding here under two theories of the charge of murder. The judge is going to instruct you about that, but I feel, give a little background about what it is we need to prove. The two theories are deliberate premeditated murder and murder by extreme atrocity or cruelty. Right? The Commonwealth must prove to you all of these theories see beyond a reasonable doubt in order for you to convict Adrian Loya. But I suggest you prove both of those, and you'll be able to, in your verdict slip, find the defendant guilty of one, or two, or none. But I suggest we prove both theories of murder in this case, deliberate premeditation and extreme atrocity and cruelty. What then is deliberate premeditated murder? I suggest it means there was a plan, some contemplation that was involved. And I think there's an overabundance of evidence about the evidence concerning a plan. And what about extreme atrocity and cruelty? I suggest it has to do with the way in which the crime was committed. That the means that were used to accomplish the death were extremely atrocious and or cruel. Doesn't have to go, it's an or, not an and. 11 gunshot wounds in Lisa Trebnikova. Now, the Commonwealth must prove to you with deliberate premeditated murder that Adrian Loya caused the death of Lisa Trebnikova and intended to kill Lisa Trebnikova and committed the killing with deliberate premeditation. Caused the death of Lisa Trebnikova. I would suggest to you that it is uncontroverted in this case. That Lisa Trebnikova was killed as a result of the 11 gunshot wounds inflicted by Adrian Loya. Intended to kill Lisa Trebnikova. I would suggest to you infer an intent to kill when someone uses a dangerous weapon upon another person. And Mr. Loya used a pistol. He intended to kill Lisa Trebnikova. What other intent could Adrian Loya possibly have had as he shot 15 times into that mattress? Other than those shots hitting and causing the death of Lisa Trebnikova. This is not an accident. This is not a justifiable killing, such as in wartime or something like self-defense. This was 15 attempts to end the life of Lisa Trebnikova. And incidentally, not even caring about the life of Anna Trebnikova. Deliberate premeditation. Did the defendant decide to kill Lisa Trebnikova after some period of reflection? I'm going to suggest that the Commonwealth has proved overwhelmingly that Adrian Loya thought and reflected upon killing Lisa Trebnikova. He planned this killing out months in advance, I would suggest to you. It may not be a brilliant plan. It doesn't have to be even a common, but it was a plan that he implied and used in this case. What evidence do we have of Adrian Loya's plan to kill in this case? Well, we have Exhibit 67, which is his first interview with the police. In that, Loya says, and instead of taking myself out in my bedroom or something, I wanted to show her what she created. And then basically take, and her. Dover says, when you say take her out, what did you mean? Mr. Loya, murder her. Dover says, you wanted to murder her? And Loya says, yes, sir. Later on, what was it that you did? Loya says, I murdered a woman. Dover says, and what was that woman's name? Loya says, Lisa Trebnikova. Later on, Dover says, and so I guess that what you're saying to me is that it was your intent was to first go there and murder the young lady? And he says, correct. Later, Loya says, I didn't want there to be any question saying it was a senseless murder or a terrorist act or something like that. It was a very personal act of revenge. And that's your motive here, isn't it? Revenge. My mind was just to get in contact with her and remove her. Trooper Dobbin asks, when you say remove her, Loya says, it's murder. Loya says, well, from once October, I saw that here's a place. Here's what it looks like. It all just easily fell into place of what I needed to do was make an obstacle because I'm going to be stopped immediately and give me time. And then cause a threat to where after I murder Lisa, cause a threat to where the police officers would shoot me. Loya later says in the same interview, and this is where, in his answer to this part, and I know I'll have to talk to more people after this, after I guess, convicted or whatever, to know why I did this. It wasn't just a random killing, or, me just saying, oh, here are some girls, I'm going to shoot them. It was a very personal revenge thing. Later on, Loya, but it was a life I wanted to take. Donovan, you've been thinking about this a long time. Loya, yes. He writes in Operation Purple Rebel, exhibit number 131, and you'll have this in the jury room with you. Primary objective, make contact and eliminate target Lisa Trebnikova, a.k.a. La Brugia. Exhibit 128, the 265 page or so missive we've heard about Loya wars. Under a chapter he entitles The Decision, making the choice where I didn't want to play anymore. He writes, I then decided that if I was going to lead this life, I would not allow Lisa to be allowed to remain. I had to get revenge. I wanted revenge. I hate Lisa Berlanga, and I will have my revenge upon her. With an exclamation. Same thing. Later on, hunt for revenge. Planning the great battle. She hurt me. She hurt me, and I shall end her. I'll chase her around Cape Cod, and around the Aleutian chain, and into the very fires of hell before I let her claim victory. There's only one thought on my mind, revenge. I wanted to deny Lisa happiness. I wanted to deny her seeing the day when gay marriage is made legal throughout the country. Deny her the chance to see the first Hispanic or female U.S. president. Deny her the career she was in. Deny her the wonderful moments of life. Deny her the chance to grow old together with Anna. Deny her the love from Anna. Deny her the sense of safety. I wanted to deny her everything, and in doing so, strike fear into her as the last sensation she would ever have. And still, that's it. The girls are there. Loya, prepare yourself for a surface attack, summer of 2014. He writes, as summer 2014 moved on, I already had a pretty good general idea of what I wanted to do, but I still did not know where Lisa actually was. I needed to strike when she was most vulnerable and unaware, so preferably her home. When the location popped up on the map, I was almost ecstatic. I had played numerous strategy and tower defense games during my video game career, so when I saw the layout of where Lisa allegedly lived, I saw right away that it was tactically perfect. I immediately saw that if all you did was place an obstacle on the southern road, then first responders would have a hell of a time getting in there quickly, thus giving me ample time for the mission. Then Operation Purple Rebel, my final battle in the first battle against fear and power. He wrote, I hate Lisa, and I want to be the one to destroy her for putting fear into me and the power she gained by doing so. Essentially, the mission is a basic assassination mission. Confront Lisa any way I can and terminate her. The finalized plan mission goes like this. Return to Bourne, Mass. To conduct a recon. Make sure Lisa is at her home. Unlike cops in their no-knock warrant bullshit, I will confirm Lisa is indeed there before I begin anything. Enter the Roundhouse neighborhood in the very early morning hours. Plant my .22 rifle on a small hill overlooking a parking lot in front of Lisa's. Place a boombox on top of an outdoor electrical box with some battle tunes. Drive back to the entrance of Roundhouse and place my car to block incoming traffic, and then set fire to it to cause a major distraction. Run back to Lisa's and conduct a shotgun breach into her home. Enter her bedroom on the second floor while yelling at the girls to get on the floor. Handcuff both girls and place tape on Anna's mouth and move on to focus on Lisa. Reveal myself to Lisa. Tell her that now, over 2 years later, I have come back for her to have my revenge. After allowing Lisa to have any last words, then stab to the heart and the neck. The plan then is set into motion. When or why does Adrian Loya come to the Cape in October of 2014 to conduct reconnaissance? Now, if Adrian Loya could not control his impulses, why does he place the trail there? If Adrian Loya can't control his impulses, why does he not attack the woman that night, October 14th, 2014, once he's sure they're at 11 Roundhouse Road? He can and he does control his impulses, ladies and gentlemen, by driving back to Virginia. And what does he do on his way back to Chesapeake? Exhibit 126 is the video of what we've been calling a panic attack, but when he stops in Pennsylvania and starts walking through the woods, he weighs the pros and cons of going through with this mission. And I quote, I decided, this early I was going to stop it. So I went, I still have problems, And how should I? I need help. How should I go about, getting? And because of my scars and knowing how stuff works, I didn't want to go look for help, which would also, basically put me in danger. Since I've been telling people things are wrong and asking for help, nothing but bad things have happened. Another one, I think, the Navy and the Air Force. I know all the three Army services, so they all ended with them being discharged. So that's when I was like, well, maybe if I do change my mind or something, this past summer, be like, let's keep it on the down low. If we're not going to go through with the main thing, then, don't. Don't start causing trouble for yourself if you try to survive. I was thinking about, this past June when I started thinking about how this is, this incredibly crazy what I was. I've been planning to do, It's happened crazy that I want to conduct a mission to murder a girl. And then die. It's not exactly the healthiest thoughts. All right. So I was thinking about it in June, started planning everything out. But now I started to think about it and realized, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm here to start my career. I have suicidal thoughts. I have murderous thoughts. You know what? What if I just get some help? He's understanding then, ladies and gentlemen, that what he wants to do is wrong. He knows murder is wrong. He knows he could get help. But he chooses not to, because he's weighed this out in his head, and he says, I'm better off just killing her than getting kicked out of the Coast Guard, or let anybody know that I was feeling this way. That's a decision he made that you can see, you can hear him talk about on this exhibit. Dr. Danout's report, and we'll talk more about him in a minute. Loya tearfully explains that he resheathed the knife as he thought now, second-guessing whether he would proceed. He thought he actually accomplished the mission because Lisa was experiencing the fear that he had been enduring. Loya cries, holds his head, and grips his hands as he explains that he's changed his mind and decided not to kill Lisa. I saw she was so scared. She knew I had come all the way to kill her. I didn't want to hurt her or Annie. Loya paced back and forth at the foot of the bed, looking out the window at nothing. He pulled out 2 glow sticks, snapped them, and threw them, not knowing why. He was not thinking anymore. He didn't know what to do. He had changed his mind about killing Lisa, and so he didn't know what to do. Even then, he knew what he wanted to do was wrong, and he chose to kill Lisa and didn't care what Anna was when he pulled that trigger and shot 15 rounds into that mattress. Now, while I'm talking about the evidence and how it relates to the challenge of the crime of murder, I suggest you also consider that in how they refer or relate to the concept of criminal responsibility. Whether Adrian Loya could appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct, or if Adrian Loya could have conformed his conduct to the requirements of the law. And I suggest what I just read to you shows that he could do both. And I'm going to try not to repeat myself because I have limited time. But let's look at the actions planning, preparing and carrying out this plan as it relates to criminal responsibility. If he doesn't appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct, why does he describe the plan himself as evil? Again, from the Lawyer Wars, Exhibit 128. That's it, the girls are there. He writes, Loya, prepare yourself for service. Summer 2014. I started thinking of throwing the whole evil plan out the window and thought about just playing the game of life once more. Fuck that idea, and because I know how overboard medical gets, and I don't need more problems. So I continued on with the plan. I have not had second thoughts since. So he chose what in his mind would be more comfortable for him. It's going to be worse for me if I don't kill him. And so he decides. Now, deliberate premeditation does not have to take a long time. It doesn't have to be a long and drawn-out process. It can be as quick as it takes the mind to decide to pull a trigger of a gun or punch the blade of a knife into the body of another person. That can take place in the span of a second, or even less than a second, as long as there is some reflection. And the decision to act on that reflection is followed by the action. This is not a case where Adrian Loya found himself in a situation where there was no time to reflect, where he acted immediately and without thinking. The old story goes of somebody coming home, finding their loved one in bed with another person, and without thinking, they attack that other person, without premeditation. Here we have Adrian Loya saying he'd been planning this Operation Purple Rebel with years of premeditation. He had a reconnaissance mission in October of 2014. Don't forget the lengths he went to find out where Lisa was living. Now, the second theory of murder the Commonwealth is proceeding on is extreme atrocity or cruelty. With respect to extreme atrocity or cruelty, the first element the Commonwealth has to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt. It's the same as for deliberate premeditation. Adrian Loya caused the death. We've already talked about it. No question he caused the death. The second element the Commonwealth must prove beyond a reasonable doubt is any one of the following: that Adrian Loya intended to kill Lisa Trevor, or intended to cause grievous bodily harm to Lisa Tremakova, or intended to do an act which, in the circumstances known to Adrian Loya, a reasonable person would have known created a plain and strong likelihood that death would result. Now, as to the first option, and remember the Commonwealth goes through. I suggest the Commonwealth has proven all three, though, that Adrian Loya intended to commit Lisa Tremakova. It's the same as with the political premeditation. And again, I suggest to you, it's uncontroverted that Adrian Loya shot 15 times, 11 of those bullets hitting Lisa Tremakova. That he intended grievous bodily harm. He shot her 15 times, and 11 of them hit her in the chest, another in the chest, in the right thigh, in the left thigh, in the left hip, in the right chest, in the left thigh, in the right leg again, in the abdomen, and in the back. And third, that Adrian Loya intended to do an act, namely, repeatedly shoot Lisa Tremakova in the circumstances known to Adrian Loya. A reasonable person would have known created a plain and strong likelihood that death would result. Again, 11 shots to the various portions of Lisa's body, when he shot 15 times into the mattress. Circumstances known to Mr. Loya obviously would create a plain and strong likelihood that death would result. It's what he intended. Now, the final element is that the killing was committed with extreme atrocity or cruelty. But there are some factors, I suggest, that you may consider in determining if this was a killing with extreme atrocity or cruelty. The Commonwealth, I suggest, only has to prove one of these factors. But I suggest we have proven many factors. Whether Adrian Loya was indifferent or took pleasure in the suffering of Lisa Tremakova, the consciousness and degree of suffering of Lisa Tremakova, the extent of the injuries to Lisa Tremakova, the number of blows delivered, the manner, degree, and severity of the force used, the nature of the weapon, instrument, or method used, and or the disproportion between the means needed to cause death and those actually employed. Now, the Commonwealth has to prove one of those seven, but I suggest to you the Commonwealth has proven all of those seven in this case. Let's look at those factors individually. One, indifference or pleasure in the suffering of the victim. Shot her 11 times. Wants to tease her and terrorize her. Wants to have her here as the last thing before she dies. I'm here because of what you did to me. Imagine a terrorist, somebody breaks into their room and is holding a gun at them. Specifically Lisa, who thought that this was not an event that she needed to worry about ever again. She apologized the day after it happened. She apologized repeatedly. She didn't even remember because she was drunk what had happened. And then here's Adrian Loya out of nowhere with his gun in rifle. Consciousness and degree of suffering of Lisa Tremakova. Listen to the 911 tape, Exhibit 119, because at the beginning of that 911 tape, I suggest to you, you can hear Lisa dying. Anna tells how she had the chance to kiss her or Lisa Tremakova just as her life ended. You listen to this, you can hear Lisa's last words at the beginning of this DVD. The extent of the injuries, well, 11 separate wounds. The number of blows inflicted, again, 11 separate gunshot wounds. The manner and degree and severity of the force used. Now, Mr. Loya's first statement to the police, and it's horrible how I took out Lisa, you know? In his second statement to the police, this viciousness, not so much, at this. Lisa was the only target. And finally, the disproportion between the means needed to cause death and those employed. Dr. Zane told you one of those shots could have been fatal, and the death would have been inside. But Adrian Loya administered 11 gunshot wounds and 15 shots total into that mattress. Now, I'm suggesting the Commonwealth has proved beyond reasonable doubt that Adrian Loya committed first-degree murder on both those series, deliberate premeditation and extreme atrocity of cruelty. But let's look a little more closely at the claim of lack of criminal responsibility. The Commonwealth certainly bears the burden of proving that Adrian Loya was criminally responsible at the time of this crime beyond a reasonable doubt. And I suggest the evidence here certainly does that. Ladies and gentlemen, focus on the evidence. No one is asking you to substitute any sympathy for Lisa Trebnikova, Anna Trebnikova, or Jared McDonald. You look at the evidence, apply that evidence to this case, leave sympathy completely out of it. No one wants you to let sympathy overwhelm you here, at all. Adrian Loya may have been depressed, but he wasn't so depressed that he didn't have an understanding of what he was doing, that he was incapable of making decisions and choices, in understanding the consequences of those decisions. Did Adrian Loya suffer from mental disease or defect? I think, of course he did. All the doctors told you that he did. So the question isn't just because you suffer from a mental disease or defect that you're not responsible. It's, does that disease or mental defect cause you to not be able to appreciate the wrongfulness, substantially appreciate the wrongfulness of your act or substantially conforming conduct to the requirements of the law? Because you could be suffering, I suggest to you, a mental disease or defect and still be able to do those things, just like he did. Dr. Kelly tells you he didn't, Mr. Loya, didn't have a crush on Lisa Trebnikova. Is that even remotely believable, ladies and gentlemen? Jacob Heller tells you he thought there was something going on up there. Anna Trebnikova tells you she thought there was something up there. Even Adrian Loya in his writing and statements tells you, again, from Loya Wars, Exhibit 128, Light Jetted Down, October 2011, it was during this time I started to get those good feelings that you get when you want to be more than friends. Surprise! Late October 2011. The tiny but present romantic thoughts at the time I classified as normal instinctual reactions in a hetero male for female. Meet the Newlyweds, late January 2012. Lisa then turned towards me to put her head on my shoulder and got right in next to my ear to whisper, asking if I wanted to leave. Something with her voice, breath, and touch gave me those immediate good flashbacks to better bar hopping nights in my early days in the Coast Guard. And then there was the small, sweet connection with Lisa that sparked in me by her doing this. The first WTF moment, February 2012, Packages. Watched the movie with Sherlock Holmes' Game of Shadows. In it was Naomi Repase, playing some gypsy, but all I saw on the screen was Lisa's face. This would be the first time that I'd see a woman with black hair and eyeliner and immediately associated with Lisa. The Bad Night, September 9th, 2012. The feeling was amazing. It was 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, and I felt so alive as I got ready and left to Lisa's house. It was the feeling of being wanted by somebody, that there was a person out there who wanted me to be with them, somebody who wanted my company. Lisa Berlanga wanted Adrian Loya with her to have some late night fun. I was the happiest I had ever been in my entire life because somebody wanted me in their life, and it was a person I also wanted in my life. It was the face of someone who had missed me and was truly happy to see me again. Seeing that face gave me the best tingle throughout my body, and I was so happy to see her as well. Not knowing how to deal, October 2012. How would I still gone over to her house if I knew what the outcome would be? I hesitated, but I went with my gut nature, which was yes. Yes, I still would have gone. Those initial feelings I had before I walked into her house were amazing. And if I could do it again, it would be for that hope I had as I went there that everything was going to be all right with me and Lisa, if not better. The Siren Song, November 23rd, 2012, with her saying that so softly, her butt pressing into my shoulder and her head caressing the back of my head as she kept me in place. I just kind of became at ease and stayed in the position no matter how my knees started feeling because the tingle she gave me made me feel amazing. I became intoxicated by the smell. She continued being very close to me and gently touching me, which she had never done before. The very friendly yet flirty attitude she had this evening with me made me feel great, even if it was another case of sexual assault done by her. I was ready, liking being around Lisa again. I have declared it the best day of the year for me. A fresh start, New Year's 2013. So my hand cups the hat while Lisa's hand cups mine, and then she gives it a squeeze. I will have to admit that it felt great when she did that, because once the squeeze came, she turned to me and smiled at me while she fixed the hat back on her head. The letter he wrote to Lisa, Exhibit 121A. Okay, so I have an incredibly huge crush on you. Can Adrian Loya tell the difference between right and wrong? Dr. Kelly, Dr. Holton, Dr. Peterson said he can. Can Adrian Loya conform his conduct? Was Adrian Loya slavishly compelled to commit this crime? Was his will so overborne he had no chance but to follow through with his evil plan? Of course not. And how do we know? He deviates his conduct. He changes the plan a number of times. He foregoes the completion of the plan. His suicide by cop. He certainly can deviate from his plan. Let's talk about the experts for a moment. Let's talk about the so-called experts in this case. You had an opportunity to hear from 4 individuals, Dr. Kelly, Dr. Dana, Dr. Holton, and Dr. Evesham. It's up to you to decide who to believe and what to do. Remember, just because you hear 2 or more versions doesn't necessarily mean there's reasonable doubt. Likewise, just because you hear 2 or more opinions doesn't necessarily mean there's reasonable doubt. You have to decide what to believe. Who is the most qualified? Whose opinion best comported with the evidence in this case? And I suggest it's the opinion of Dr. Edersheim and Dr. Holton. Why? It makes sense. Dr. Kelly opines that Adrian Loya is suffering from high-functioning Asperger's. No one else does. Not now, not ever. No one ever suspected such an affliction for the defendant. Ever. Not when he was in grammar school, not when he was in high school, not his 1-year community college, not when he was in the Coast Guard. No one ever, except Dr. Kelly. No. Dr. Holton considered Asperger's and rejected it. Dr. Evesham considered Asperger's and rejected it. Even Dr. Dana considered Asperger's and rejected it. Dr. Dana opined that Adrian Loya suffers from a schizoid personality disorder and a major delusional disorder. No one else does. Not now, not ever. No one ever suspected such an affliction for the defendant. Ever. Not when he was in grammar school, not when he was in high school, not when he was first-year community college, not when he was in the Coast Guard. No one ever, except Dr. Dana. Oh, in the defendant, after he looked it up on the internet. Dr. Holton considered schizoid personality disorder and major delusional disorder and rejects them. Dr. Edersheim considers schizoid personality disorder and a major delusional disorder and rejects them. Even Dr. Kelly considered schizoid personality disorder and rejected it. Not only did Dr. Edersheim opine that the defendant was criminally responsible, she explained to you how she reached that conclusion using specific examples from the voluminous records she had available to her. Didn't that make sense? And why didn't she speak to the defendant? She told you, I would never talk to somebody until I was prepared to talk to somebody. And what did prepared mean? It means she had to go through all of those records that you've heard about. She had to go through the 200-page document that he wrote, all the letters he wrote, all the records from Bridgewater State Hospital, which she did. She was ready to interview the defendant. She wasn't allowed to interview the defendant. What would she have gained by interviewing the defendant? Remember what time that was? He had already been interviewed for what, 43 hours by Dr. Dana? I forget what Dr. Kelly said, how long he interviewed him. How long did Dr. Holton interview him? They all wrote reports. They're going to leave out something that's important, that helped them form their opinions? I suggest not. She had that information. But she also expressed and explained to you why she opined the defendant didn't suffer from the ailments opined by Dr. Kelly and Dr. Dana. Clearly explained to you, citing examples. Of all the doctors, did she not have the best command of the materials in this case? If she was asked a question, could she not refer specifically to something in the records to answer that question? Especially when she was giving her examples about why he did or didn't meet certain criteria? Was she not the most qualified doctor that testified here? She doesn't just teach at Harvard Medical School, which she does. She graduated from Harvard Medical School. She wrote articles relevant to the topics under consideration, not just one. She wrote chapters for books. She's a psychiatrist, which means she's an MD, not a psychologist, ladies and gentlemen. And let's talk about magical thinking that Dr. Kelly mentioned. People engage in whatever you want to call magical thinking all the time. I'm sure you know someone who feels that somehow, if they wear their lucky shirt, the Red Sox will continue their winning streak. And that lucky shirt may not get washed for as long as the winning streak continues. Does anybody here really think that shirt has anything to do with the Red Sox winning streak? To borrow Dr. Danoff's phrase, that's crazy. And crazy, ladies and gentlemen, is a term of art. When he says that's crazy, he doesn't mean legally crazy. Because he doesn't even, he's willing to say, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Just because Mr. Loya liked fantasy and science fiction subjects doesn't mean he's not criminally responsible. Was he a nerd? Quite possibly. But there are lots of folks who enjoy things other people might find somewhat strange. Fantasy football, coin collecting, golf. And what about the cardboard figures in exhibit number 71 here? Remember what Detective Branch from the Chesapeake Police told you. They were set up so that when the police went into that apartment, they would see them and that they would be a threat. They are pictured with guns. Gun, 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 and we've already gone over those two. Guns. They all have guns. And the police, so when the police go in, they will feel threatened. He put them there on purpose as an FU to the police, because if you believe his claim, he would have been dead when they got there. Just like the gunner that was on the floor, too. Keep that in mind. They had to put a robot in there. That's why he's a lying gun, because the robot knocked him over. Now, Dr. Kelly tells you that Mr. Loya is truthful, that he was non-aggressive, that he was non-violent, but he doesn't even bother to check the Bridgewater State Hospital records that show that Mr. Loya was a violent individual by being the aggressor in a fight. And when he's confronted by that fight, he lies about it. He says, I wasn't the aggressor. He was. But there was video evidence that showed otherwise. Just because you may be awkward and shy doesn't give you a free pass to commit murder, or terrorize somebody who's lawfully in their home, or shoot a police officer. In response to one of Mr. Sigdon's questions, Dr. Danoff said, that's crazy. Again, but it's not legally crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Loya did what he did for a reason. A reality-based reason. Revenge. He wanted revenge on Lisa Trebnikova. It was because of his relationship, or lack of it, that he tried and did kill Lisa Trebnikova. He went over the house. True. Something happened, that's true. And keep in mind, as to whether what happened exactly is how he relates it, we have to take him at his word. Not only was Lisa dead, but she said she didn't remember at the time. She was too drunk. Something happened, that's true. He knew what he did was wrong. A higher rank Coast Guard member shooting a lower rank drunken wife of another Coast Guard member. That's true. We know that happened. That's not delusional. If Lisa reported him, he'd have some exposure. That's true. That's not delusional. That's not based on things that aren't reality. So he provides the preemptive strike. He reports that things don't turn out the way that he wants. He gets held accountable, not for any sexual infraction, but because he was a higher rank, and he shouldn't have been doing that pursuant to Coast Guard rules and regulations. And then the page 12, or something, is entered up. And this enrages him. He becomes a stalker. He wants to be the hero that Dr. Dano tells us. But he certainly wasn't the hero to Anna Trebnikova or Jared McDonald, and most certainly not Lisa Trebnikova either. And remember, what's the last thing Dr. Dano said? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I think we can all agree, whoever decides to commit a murder has something wrong with them. That's not the question. The question is, does that something that's wrong with them cause them to be unable to substantially understand the wrongfulness of their acts and substantially make them incapable of conforming to the requirements of the law? Here, it didn't. He chose to embark on a plan to kill Lisa Trebnikova. Its complexities and thoroughness show deliberate premeditation. He carried out showing a viciousness, his word, and delight in the suffering of his victim. 15 shots, 11 hit Lisa. Extreme atrocity or cruelty, ladies and gentlemen. Shooting at a crouched individual he knew was a police officer. All the assaultive charges against Jared McDonald. There were a number of charges in this case. I've had to gloss over some, just don't have the time to go over each and every one. I'm sure, His Honor instructs you as the elements of those crimes, that when you take those elements, apply the facts as you find them, and then also consider the criminal responsibility of Mr. Loya, which I suggest to you is evident in this case, has been proven to you beyond a reasonable doubt. You will find that Adrian Loya is guilty of committing all of these crimes. The word verdict comes from the Latin verus dicta, speak the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your turn to do the speaking in this case. With your verdict, speak the truth. Adrian Loya is guilty of first-degree murder. Both theories. He's guilty of the assault with intent to commit murder of Lisa, Anna, and Jared McDonald. The aggravated A and B with a dangerous weapon of Lisa and Anna and Officer McDonald. All of the charges, and I'm not going to go through them all because they're lengthy. He is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I ask that you so find. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. District Attorney.